Hello students. So this is we are starting class 11. So today we will start about biological classification. So today we will discuss about biological classification. So students already were aware about the classification systems of classification. Now we will start the classification. At first the whole classification of made as two kingdom classifications. At first there was only two kingdom classification, kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. You can see here two kingdom classification, actually kingdom Plantae and kingdom, but there were numerous problems related to two kingdom classification. We know that the fungi which are non-motile, have cell wall like that of plants, but cannot perform photosynthesis like that of animals. Clear? So Euglena and certain other prokaryotes which do not have cell wall like that of animals, but are autotrophic as well as heterotrophic and have chlorophyll like that of the plants. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes, there is a huge difference in their structure. Clear? In one, the nucleus is not developed at all, and other, the nucleus is well developed, but they are placed in one group only. And there are multicellular, unicellular organisms who are also placed in one group only. So there are numerous drawbacks, and so gradual modification was there, and finally three kingdom classification, four kingdom classification, and finally R.H. Whitaker came up with the five kingdom classification. And we know what are the kingdoms. They are the Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. And so this is the five kingdom classification, and that is the most accepted one. But Carl Woese deviated from this five kingdom classification, and he divided Monera into two separate kingdom: Archaebacteria, that is the most primitive type of bacteria, call it Archaea, and the Eubacteria, that is the normal bacteria, that is group Monerids. Clear? So he divided the kingdom Monera into two kingdoms, that is Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. And so finally he proposed six kingdom classification. And according to him, all the ancestors of our existing organisms actually came from three groups. They are the Archaea, the bacteria, and the Eukarya. That is these Archaea and bacteria, though they have the prokaryotic nucleus, but they have numerous dissimilarities also. And Eukarya, you know that they are having true nucleus. So he proposed three domains. All the ancestors of all the organisms, the ancestors are actually, there are three clusters of ancestors. One are the Archaea, one are the Eubacteria, and another the Eukarya. So these are the three clusters. He named them three domains. Clear? These are the three domains of life, or three domains of living organisms, where from the living organism came. So these are the three groups. Now, next we will discuss about the structures, or actually the basis on which the classification has been done by Whitaker. So what are the basis for classification of Whitaker? So there are five kingdoms are there, and the bases are, first of all think about the cell type. In Monerans, they are unicellular prokaryotic. Protistans are unicellular, but they are eukaryotic. Fungi are multicellular eukaryotic. And these plantae are also multicellular eukaryotic, animals are also multicellular and eukaryotic. Clear? Next, from the cell wall. What about the cell wall? You can see here the monerans. The monerans have cell wall, they have a rigid cell wall, and often they are made up of peptidoglycan, that is a polysaccharide with peptides. Clear? Peptidoglycan. Often the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. But in Protista, it is not necessary that all have cell wall, and some have cell wall, some do not possess cell wall. The constituent of cell wall also very varied type. In the fungi, they have cell wall, but that cell wall is made up of chitin. In plantae, they have cell wall, they possess cell wall, but that is made up of cellulose. And in Animalia, the cell wall is totally absent. So these are the basis on. So another basis is the cell wall on which classification has been done. Next, Next is the body organization. So you can see here the monerans, they are obviously unicellular and prokaryotic. Protistans are also unicellular prokaryotic. Fungi, they are multicellular, but there is only tissues, still they do not have proper tissue formation. Only this is the aggregation of cell. So there is no proper tissue formation. Only there is aggregation of cells. Sometimes pseudo tissue formation is there. And in plantae, there is tissue formation as well as to some extent organ like structure like leaf and all. And in Animalia, not only organ but organ systems like digestive system, circulatory system, all are present. So complex body organization is there in the Animalia. So this is another basis for classification. And next is the basis for classification is the mode of nutrition. In Monera, we find they are autotrophs as well as heterotrophs. Clear? Autotrophs, they may be photosynthetic, they may be chemosynthetic, that is, they are breaking down the inorganic substances for the energy. They may be heterotrophs like parasitic, symbiotic, saprophytic, etc. And protistans, they also have various types of nutrition, autotrophs as well as heterotrophs. But in protista, we don't find autotrophs chemosynthetic. Chemosynthetic autotrophs are only found in the monerans. That means they are gaining the energy from breakdown of inorganic complex chemical substances. But in protista, we don't find that chemosynthetic, but autotrophs, photosynthetic autotrophs are there, heterotrophs are there. In fungi, they are obligatory heterotrophs. They don't possess any chlorophyll, so they have to take the food from others, and so they may be saprophytic, symbiotic, parasitic, etc. In plantae, they are autotrophs, they possess chlorophyll, they can perform the photosynthesis, they can produce their own food. And in Animalia, they are also heterotrophs, but they take food by ingestion. Animalia take food by ingestion. Clear? So there is digestion and all occurring in them. And next is the motility. So in prokaryotes, that is Monera, the flagella is there, but flagella is of different constituent, but flagella is there, fimbriae is there. In Protista, we have flagella, cilia, pseudopodia for their movement. Fungi are generally non-motile, but they certain gametes and all may possess flagella. Plants are also non-motile, but in certain lower plants, the gametes may possess flagella. Animals are motile; they have flagella and they have cilia, and they have contractile fibrils for their movement. So these are the various bases on which classification has been done. Now, next we will go for the kingdom Monera. Already we have a concept about the monadans, and monadans are divided into various. So monadans, what are the concept about the monadans? They are unicellular, they are prokaryotic, they have very simple body organization, and they have cell wall which may be generally made up of peptidoglycan, but sometimes it may vary, and their mode of nutrition may be autotrophs or heterotropic, and they can move by flagella, though it is different in constituents, but flagella is there. And these monadans can be divided into various groups like bacteria, archaebacteria, cyanobacteria, mycoplasma, and rickettsiales. So monadans can be classified into various groups. First of all, we will discuss about bacteria. So let us have an idea about the bacterial cell. Clear? So first of all, get a picture about the bacterial cell. You can see the coverings, the most outer covering. This one, this is the mucilaginous covering. This is the mucilaginous covering. Inner to the mucilaginous covering, there is cell wall. So inner to mucilaginous covering, there is cell wall. So, and we know that bacterial cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Now this peptidoglycan has a very complex constituents. Peptidoglycan, you can see there are two parts. So this is there are two parts, the protein part peptide and the sugar part, that is glycan. The sugar part is the glycan and protein part is the peptide. Now we know that in proteins amino acids are associated, attached with the peptide bond. So this is called peptide chain, and glycans are the sugar part. Glycans contains mainly two basic compounds. They are the N-acetyl-muramic acid and N-acetyl glucosamine. So two basic compounds are there in the glycan part. These are the N-acetyl-muramic acid and N-acetyl glucosamine. Clear? In short, we call them NAGA and NAMA. And the protein part contains four types of amino acids. These are the L-alanine, D-glutamic acid, then L-lysine, and then D-alanine. So they mix up they are attached by the peptide bond and forms a peptide chain. So here you can see the arrangement. Clear? This is the N-acetyl-muramic acid. This is the N-acetyl glucosamine, and they are associated by the protein chain. They are attached by the protein chain, and thus they forms a rigid wall which forms the cell wall. Inner to cell wall is the cell membrane. You can see here, inner to cell wall there is another membrane. This is the cell membrane, which is cell membrane have that phospholipid. It is the phospholipid constituent of cell membrane, and we can see some outgrowths. This is the flagella. So you can see here, these are the flagella. These flagella have a basal region. This region is the hook, and this is finally the filament. Clear? There are certain other projections also. These are the pili. Clear? Flagella is for the movement of the bacteria, and this is unistrand. This is made up of flagellin protein, and this is only one strand is present here. Clear? Which is compared to the eukaryotic flagella, which is 9+2 stranded. Here it is only one stranded, and this pili is there, which forms a conjugation bridge, which will come later. And there are some projections also coming out. Those are called fimbri, which helps these bacteria to attach with the substratum. Now inside we can see there is another projection called mesosome. So this is the mesosome. Clear? Mesosome remains very more or less associated with the nucleoid, and this is very important. This mesosome has a vital role in during the binary fission, this division of the nucleoid. During binary fission, this division of the nucleoid, mesosome plays a very important role. And in addition to that, mesosome also carries numerous respiratory enzymes. And respiratory enzymes also remain attached to the cell membranes also. Here you can see these are the respiratory enzymes which are attached to the cell membrane. Inside the cytoplasm, we know this is a prokaryotic cell. So since it is a prokaryotic cell, it will not possess any membrane bound organelle. What is present? The membraneless organelle like ribosomes are present. Here you can see numerous ribosomes. Often they are associated together during the formation of protein. This is called polyribosome. Ribosome is associated together during the formation of protein called polyribosome. And there are, in the mass of cytoplasm, there are granules, there are volutin granules, there are lipids. Clear? And in the center, more or less center, we find the nucleoid. So this is the nucleoid. What we find in nucleoid? In nucleoid, there is only single chromosome. Rather, it is chromatin, because chromatin when condenses form chromosome, but here there is no condensation. Why there is no condensation? Because the condensing protein histone is absent. So there is no condensation. There is a coiled single double-stranded DNA, and that forms the nuclear material. There is no nuclear membrane. Clear? And this coiled double-stranded DNA, circular or coiled double-stranded DNA, this is a single double-stranded DNA which forms the nuclear material. It's called nucleoid, or it is called genophore. And often protein is there, certain acidic proteins are there to which it remains attached. Clear? And you can see RNA also there. Here it is also associated with sometimes with RNA. Here there are also RNAs on which protein synthesis will occur. And bacteria, another thing very peculiar to bacteria is the presence of this plasmid. What is plasmid? Plasmid is the extra chromosomal DNA, that is DNA present outside the chromosome. It is a stretch of DNA, circular DNA, which is autonomously replicating, that is self-replicating. It can replicate of its own. It does not depend on this nuclear material for its replication. It replicates of its own. It contains certain genes, like when suppose this bacteria is resistant to this antibiotic, this gene for this resistance is there, 6 factor is there. So certain genes are present here, which is out, and this circular DNA, it is circular double-stranded self-replicating DNA which is present outside the chromosomal DNA. Clear? So it is a unique feature. We can't find this outside the monadans. Unique feature of the monadans. So this is about the cell structure of the bacteria. So this is about the basic structure of the bacteria.